Silence it!
Good evening, and welcome back to the Guardtower Presents as we continue to test the equipment here in our studio. Hopefully, as you can see, we've made quite a few changes both on your screens and behind the scenes. I would like to thank you very much for the suggestions and the support and encouragement that you've given us as we tackle this project. Before we get started, I believe it's proper to take a moment here to kind of reintroduce our cast. So I'm going to start with the Reverend Goodberries here.
Hello, my name is Joe Wood, and I play the Reverend Goodberries.
I'm Percy, and I play Damon Grove.
I'm Noah Amsterdam, and I'm playing Echo Leaf.
I'm Chelsea, and I'm playing Anna.
I'm Amanda, and I'm playing Mary.
Hey everyone, I'm Roger, and I'm playing Vaughn.
And of course, I'm Will, and I will be the host and the DM for the campaign. And later on this evening, we have a supporting cast member joining us named Adam Rudolph, so we will meet him a little bit later on. But so I guess the important thing to move forward is also talk about we have some amazing minis tonight and some custom terrain brought to us by Chris Wolfgang at Glittering Cave Studios. And Chris And so we're also featuring map sets tonight with the Warlock titles that are available at the Guardtower. So definitely pick some of those up. They definitely make it a whole lot easier than the old school days of drawing your maps out. I'm still a victim of that myself most of the time. So I believe that kind of brings us up to date. Anything? Everybody ready to throw some dice tonight?
Yeah!
Excellent. I think our intro video is on deck now. Possibly. I'm not quite sure what I should fill the air with at this moment.
Once the seat of economic and political power in the Northern Territories, the city of Granitegard fell in one catastrophic moment of terror and bloodshed. In the quiet hours of the night, the massive granite mesa that served as the city's namesake exploded violently, the debris reducing entire swaths of the city to ruin. Before the inhabitants could even comprehend what had happened, they were blindsided by an army of monstrosities surging from the sewers and into the city streets. The militia valiantly attempted to protect the fleeing citizens, but their efforts were futile against the overwhelming tide of bloodthirsty creatures. And in the midst of the chaos, the city gates slammed shut, turning Granitegard into a death trap for anyone that remained behind the high, fortified walls that had been meant to protect them. For over a decade, it has stood as silent as a tomb, and shrouded in a perpetual mist. No one has entered, and nothing human has ever come out. That is, until now. 12 years to the day since the fall of Granitegard, the Trader's Gate has opened. The news has spread like wildfire across the human crescent. And like a siren's call, fortune hunters from far and wide have been drawn by the possibility of untold riches lying just inside the city walls, daring the foolish and the brave to risk it all at a chance of wealth beyond their wildest dreams. It has also stirred the interest of old rivals. With no one from the original bloodline to claim the mantle of leadership of Granitegard, plans are forming in the dark. Powerful forces seek to play their games of state, as the lives of everyone in the north hangs in the balance. And in the midst of this all, 6 strangers have been drawn to Granitegard by something other than riches or power. Their destiny is tied to the events surrounding the fall of the city. Each of them must confront the past in order to find a way forward. Each of them must search for answers in the doomed city of Granitegard.
Excellent. So let's begin with a quick recap from last week. It's been 400 years since the elves and dwarves engaged in a bloody war that destroyed both their empires. Out of the ashes, the humans have struggled to claw their way back from the chaos. And in the Northern Territories, the city of Granitegard rose to prominence as a cultural and economic bastion of civilization. A dark calamity befell the city and scattered the people, and Granitegard has stood silent as a tomb ever since. And on the 12th anniversary of this tragedy, the city gates have reopened. Meeting by chance on the Traveler's Road, heading south towards Newtown, Anna, Vaughn, and Mary have become allies of convenience when they encounter the enigmatic Versigalis Rex. Following his invitation, they had met him at the Red Valerian Inn, and the trio headed south towards Newtown. And on the same road, at a location leagues away, Echo, Damon, and Reverend Goodberries were riding in a caravan to Newtown to trade some wares. At a fire during the last evening, they also encountered Versigalis, who had made them an offer as well to meet him at the Red Valerian. While at the inn, they had been made privy to a proposition through Versigalis to investigate the city, and all of them had taken advantage of this. And with a pot of 500 gold at their discretion, they all christened their newfound relationship with the most amazing drink they ever had in their entire life. And at the end of the evening, the entire party decided to go up to the room and get a good night's sleep, except for Echo, who's spending the night in a tree. And here is where we begin our adventures for the week. So the morning comes, you all wake up in your room there at the inn. Dawn is still very new to the day. Light's just kind of creeping through the window itself. Bed's very comfortable. Got covers kind of pulled up tight, and you still can taste that sweet ambrosia on your lips from last night. As a matter of fact, as you begin to stretch, you feel somehow a bit more empowered. Welcome to level 2.
Yes.
So,
I feel the power of the one God.
Oh my God.
we're gonna start things off here by doing everybody's favorite thing and adding some additional hit points, because that's always a good thing to kind of stay alive.
Roll rocks!
Especially with level 2, you know, we're going to throw at you all. So we're going to start on this side of the table over here, and with the good Reverend Goodberries. Let's see what you got.
Start us up right.
Please. Oh, let me get a luck potion real quick. That's a 1. I believe I get to roll again. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's a 7.
7 it shall be.
Praise be.
Praise be. That will, with my 0 constitution, that will put me to 15 hit points.
15 hit points. Well, I'll have to watch out for you in combat there.
Nothing risk, nothing gain, my friend.
Oh,
Okay.
All right, Damon, what do you got for us?
I'm choosing my dice for the night.
Choose wisely.
Don't fail me. That's true. That's a 5.
Perfectly respectable.
All
So
right.
plus
What does that bring your total to then?
16.
16? All right. Echo, what do you have?
D10.
Oh yeah.
8.
8?
That'll bring me up
Constitution
to
bonus for that?
22 with plus 2.
It's not too bad. It's respectable.
I sleep in the tree, I become a tree.
Wait, y'all got constitution?
Anna, what do you have for us?
Come on, big money, big money, big money. Okay. That's 6. It's a 6. All right. Brings me up to 19.
19. All right.
Say I'd never ask you for anything again, but we all know that's not true. D8 rolling.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's a 6 plus a 3 brings me to a cool 20.
Nice.
20. It's a good way to start the evening then.
Thank you.
Stop your guy over here.
Yeah.
All right, Yvonne. No pressure.
I know that.
That's a 10.
Whoa!
Nicely done.
Such a
And,
strong man.
So what's that going to bring you
Plus 2
to?
con, take her to 24.
24.
So my holiness rubbing off on you.
All right. Well,
My
hopefully,
genuine holiness.
hopefully you and Echo will stand there and take the hits and let some of the squishier people run around the back there. All right,
Stay
fantastic.
behind my tree.
I'm reconsidering some of my life choices that led me to this place.
I
this
did.
one?
Ranch right next to me. I highly recommend it.
So, Echo, are you going to stay in the tree, or are you going to come down and grab some breakfast?
I'll just kind of take a big stretch and see if my friends are down through the window, kind of take a whiff. If I can smell the smells of breakfast, I'll
Absolutely.
fireman slide down the trunk.
You hear a whisper coming from whence you don't know.
Oh, the wind is very...
Echo, why don't you come down and join us down here for some victuals? We'd greatly appreciate your company.
Fiddle?
Things to eat.
Huh. Okay. I was going anyway, but thank you, wind. And I'll walk inside the tavern.
Excellent. So, into the tavern you come as everybody else is kind of making their way down the stairs there. Immediately, you all notice that there's a very stark difference in the tavern from the night before. Much more somber mood. The merriment has been replaced with very sullen expressions on a lot of the customers in here, and also there's a ton more room as far as being able to find a table here first thing in the morning, because let's face it, not everybody's there to get drunk first thing at it's bright and early 6 in the morning, but a little bit of space, and ironically enough, the table you all had before is sitting wide open if you'd like to sit back there again. Are you taking the table?
Do we see back? I imagine you have gone up before. Back inside.
No, I've been sitting here the entire time.
That was the wind whispering to Echo.
You might say it was the voice of God.
No, but maybe.
Mary looks over to Reverend Goodberries. I'm surprised I didn't catch you at the church last night. Did you happen to get a walk out there before going to bed?
Did you go to the church?
I did. Thought I would take a peek. But surprised, I just didn't see you there.
Well, I carry my own congregation wherever I go, so didn't feel the need.
Sure, the one God appreciates showing up in church as well.
Do you speak with them?
Ooh, would you like to join me later today?
Well, I'm a busy man, it depends. Doing the work of the one God, I'm out doing his business out in the world, but if I have a moment, I'll stop by with you.
Remote working, I see.
Reverend, it did not appear as if this was going on yesterday.
I often find that it takes a little bit of time to establish my business in any new city. Also, there was the business of that tax man who was, don't worry, I have a plan for that. And with that, I sip my tea or beverage and I begin writing a document.
So you all have gone to the table and sit down?
Yes.
All right, very well. Just making sure where we work. It sounds like you all were in the hallway there talking before actually heading into the tavern. As you walk into the tavern. Okay. As you all are doing that, you can see that Zilda's bouncing around, getting the orders in the morning there. She kind of gives you a wave. She I'll be over in just a few moments. Sitting around the room, as you kind of glance back and forth, looking at the patrons that are in there. You can see that where the curtains are, they're kind of pulled back this morning, and there were two women in the kitchen along with Big Tom. The older one obviously is running the show, and Big Tom is definitely doing what she's ordering him to do. And there's a younger one kind of darting around, getting trays set up, and as she's moving them, she sets them out. Very easily able to tell that the older woman and the younger woman are definitely related to Zilda. They both have the same unruly, curly mop of brown hair and the same freckles kind of kissed on their cheeks there. But again, Big Tom is definitely looking like he's out of his element. Big Ox kind of in the kitchen there, but hey, everybody's got to serve a purpose on that. Zilda comes over to your table, so now she's like, how'd y'all sleep last night?
To be quite honest.
Better than I have in a minute.
Like a babe.
Excellent, excellent. We definitely pride ourselves on our rooms and our beds, so just let us know if there's anything you need there. And what are you in the mood for this morning there? What suits you for breakfast?
Breakfast.
Special breakfast? Well, actually, we try to take good care of our travelers here. We have fresh eggs and potatoes. We've got oatmeal mush with honey and raspberries are still relatively fresh. We've got smoked river trout, some bacon and sausage, and as always, we have fresh baked bread from the Wild Rose Bakery. It is absolutely amazing, and I have to say most people come from miles around to taste the bread, and the butter itself is on.
Well, as we have recently come into some coin, I feel like we should celebrate and get a spread, enjoy the fine things in life.
No, that is a horrible, horrible idea.
Why's that?
Look at what I'm wearing and ask that question again.
You don't like the colors?
No, it's not the jacket. It's what I'm wearing under the jacket.
I don't.
If I get stabbed, I'm dead. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yes. Well, that's true. We should probably give you some honor because I have grown fond of you, and I would rather if you did not get stabbed and die.
Thank you.
But can we try the berries and also the other stuff?
Yes.
Very
Yeah,
good.
you had me at bread.
The bread. The
Yes.
bread.
Yeah.
Bread and sharpie?
The sacrament.
She's like, so just bread and raspberries
And
this
the
morning?
mush
Is
as
there
well?
a spread? Is there a spread of some kind?
I tell you, how hungry are you?
Enough.
How much spread do you have?
Famished.
Famished?
Hungry.
I'll just go on the famished thing and I'll bring some stuff out. If you want something more after that, you just let me know. How about that?
Nice.
We'll make that nice and easy. Because you're definitely a healthy eater, young lady. So we'll make sure we get that taken care
I
of.
appreciate your kind hospitality.
Okay. And she hurries off along her way. Now you're left kind of by yourselves, glancing about the room there. You can see that at the various tables are groups kind of like yourselves. Each of these parties seem to be huddled over like unfurled maps, scattered leaves of paper on some of them. Every now and then looking just evil-eyed anybody that's kind of looking their direction, then go right back to conspiratorially whispering about whatever their plans happen to be. And sitting by himself over a booth in the corner there, making fastidious notes with a very long, beautiful quill pen, this really voluminous tome that he has, is the tax collector. He pauses, looks up from his work, and gives this real long wolf-like smile over at the Reverend Goodberries. Gives you a quick nod, and very happily goes back to making his notes in his tome.
He's looking at you.
Oh, I know. Don't worry. I got a plan for this. Said that in a whisper loud.
A reverend whisper. How, speaking of whispers,
They're definitely talking in low murmurs to kind of keep their conversations to themselves. Doesn't mean you couldn't possibly listen in if you were really trying to.
curious.
Well, go ahead and give me, I guess in this case would be perception. Since you're not really kind of sneaking over, just kind of.
Hearing it, 19.
19. Several groups are definitely making plans to go into the city. They're actually, every single one of them you can kind of pick anything up on is definitely making some kind of a plan to go down into Granitegard now that the gate is open. Most of them are going to try to work their way through the shambles first, see if there's anything down there that's still left. Shambles is an area that sprang up outside of Granitegard during the time that the city was thriving. Basically, there was just not enough room left in the city anymore, so now things began kind of spilling out of the city. It also is surrounded by the fields and that sort of thing around Granitegard. A lot of the farmers lived there first, and then as more merchants and more businesses sprung up in there. So the shambles also is situated outside of the Trader's Gate, which is the main gate that most people go into Granitegard, and the one gate that currently happens to open. The Queen's Gate still remains closed.
While he's listening, I'm kind of sitting there, like, half listening, zoning out, just thinking about my life and my future. I'm staring at that shield up before on the wall, all the decor in there.
The one above the bar?
Yes,
Okay.
the one that has kind of the rubbed off crest that
Well,
we're looking at.
Not rubbed off. The crest, where it would have been mounted to the shield, you can actually see where the crest has been taken off.
Oh, it's been removed.
And sitting over the top of it is also a very large looking hammer.
With my knowledge of history in the church, is there anything that I might recognize in this?
We can give you a history check, sure.
13.
13. A very fine looking piece of equipment, both of them are. Definitely seen some service. Definitely did dents and things like that in there. But as far as whom, what, where, when, you're unfortunately not able to really.
Is there anything in the direction of the tax man? Something I could maybe walk by and do? Thinking of.
Unfortunately, there's really no inconspicuous way to get up from your table. Kind of situated in the middle of the room.
Dude.
Walk over to the booths that are on the wall, just kind of casually walk by him, and then come all the way back over. I mean,
I will do it anyway.
all right. There is a fireplace that you could go to that's in the far corner that you could kind of just browse by. I mean, that's like the only landmark that I could think of within the tavern.
Be right back.
All right.
And I'll kind of walk over and just kind of do a little lap and just kind of peek at what he's writing, and I'll try and stealth.
Go ahead and give me stealth for that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say in this case, give me performance.
Performance.
This is definitely not stealth. This is definitely you're trying to play it cool.
13.
13. All right. Being that you're not a professional actor, you give it your best shot on that, and the rest of you kind of get that little bit of a cringe, like, oh, like as you go by, you hawk down and look to see what he's writing in his text there.
As he is doing this, a small sound like a chirping bird appears just at the corner of that man's table, in the opposite direction from our good friend. And anyone who's looking under our table might see some twinkle wiggles.
My first die roll of the entire campaign is a nat 20. He looks
Oh, cool.
square at Echo, and just smiles at you and kind of turns the book your direction a little bit as you're walking by. It's just a list of things people owe.
Oh, I
Taxes
can't
on
read.
there. Oh, well, in your case, it's just a bunch of scribbles.
He was
and-
not distracted by the bird call.
He was very focused on your partner walking by.
He was a man of purpose. Very well.
So,
Enjoy your breakfast.
yes.
And I'll just kind of dash back.
Screw on back to where
Yeah.
you.
I appreciate your
Sorry, I
efforts,
think I messed
but
up.
occasionally the direct approach is best. So I stroll over to his table.
You stroll over. He looks up. Yes.
Hello there. I feel as if we got off on the bad foot yesterday, and I would like to attempt to make amends, so that I could be in accordance with the laws of this land.
I'm definitely all about that. You've come to pay your toll.
I would love to pay for my license fee. As I'm talking to him, I want to be making note of any mannerisms and the tone of his voice,
All right. Very good.
and sort of file that away. Yes, so you said that I owed you 35 gold for this license, and I'd be happy to pay that now.
Excellent. I don't happen to have the paperwork with me, but I can make a notation here in the book, and you swing around. It's got you listed for not only the license to sell, but there's also the preaching license on there as well.
Very well, very well. I appreciate you. And I hand him a coin purse. Before I handed the coin purse, I may or may not have cast an illusion on it. There's something inside the coin purse that I am attempting to have him not notice.
All right. Takes the coin purse. Is there a DC I should be aware of for this illusion of yours?
It is prestidigitation, so a small illusion. I'm attempting to hide the forged document that I produced in there, so that it will now be on his person.
So I follow up my 20 with a 1. He is so focused on the coinage that his greedy little eyes, you see him kind of wipe this little bit of spittle from the corner, like, opens it up, very well, very well. And he goes and makes a little note, and he's like, that's fantastic. Pleasure doing business with you. Swing on by this afternoon, and I will have all of your paperwork.
Very well, yes. I'll be very happy to see you later. Thank you, my
And
good
you have
man.
yourself a wonderful day.
You as well.
Dingles the coin pouch and puts it away in his larger pouch.
I have many skills which avail themselves to my particular brand of business. That man is on the take, and I don't mean in the way that I do it. Hopefully, when he gets back to his offices, the note that I have placed on his person will get him into a little bit of trouble. Would you like me to tell you what I...
Absolutely, I would love to hear what has just done.
I have forged a document from him to a townsperson who he was attempting to extort for extra money for protection from. So essentially, what I think he's actually doing. So then, when anybody reads it, it will appear as if it was from him, and it will be on his person.
Very good, very good. We'll have to keep that in mind, see what happens with that.
Do we know this?
Unless he's going to tell you at the moment, no, you have
Okay.
no idea. But it was very interesting to find out what may or may not be transpiring for our poor tax.
Proud of you for actually paying him.
Sometimes you have to spend money to make money.
Right.
I must say, I have misjudged you. It's very forward, very direct.
That's all right. You never judge a book by its cover.
Listen, I will.
All right. I appreciate your apology. Now, my friends, could I interest you in some potions of healing?
With
Pass
that,
later.
Zilda's busy at other tables, and you see the young girl from the kitchen come over bringing your tray. And it is full of quite a spread of the various options that they have on there. So basically a little bit of everything for you all to give it a shot and see what you like. especially since you'll be staying here for a while, you'll have plenty of chances, you surmise, to try the menu items individually. So I'm going to assume you all bed down on your breakfast here.
Before that, would you like to give a blessing to our food?
I would love nothing better.
I would love to hear your prayers.
It's trying to screw.
We are gathered here today under the light of the one God, so that we may take this nourishing food into our bodies and go out and do the Lord's work. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Can I get an amen?
Put the table over there.
And then as I slam my hand on the table, the candles in the place. What do we think? Was that sufficient?
It was definitely sufficient. I appreciate your prayer, even the show and the flair as well.
Well, it's the show and the flair that attracts the flock.
A certain flock, sure.
Part of your process.
Something like that.
Shade.
Please don't refer to me as a sheep.
Oh, pardon me. Flock is in the people that come to hear me preach. Now, I meant to ask you, Echo, the food that we see in front of us here.
Mm-hmm.
Is this new to you? Have you experienced
Yes.
kind of food like this before?
I mean, if I can find it, of course.
Very well.
It doesn't come out on a plate out of a room like that, but
Well, the two of you have been working really hard on the caravan. That's why I felt that we should partake of the finer things in life while we can. And don't worry, my friend. We'll make sure that you are well equipped for arms and armor for our future pursuits.
Wonderful.
As Damon does not seem quite as enthralled with your promises there, you do notice that a pair of young would-be adventurers make their way into the foyer and have looking in, kind of glancing across tables and whispering back and forth to each other. Just a very expensive-looking, very fancy armor with flashy hilts, and their sheets. Wow. Their sheets are very ornate. You can see that one of the men has a very impressive kite shield adorned with a very fancy family crest. It's a cockatrice on a red and white background. And as they size up the parties, they pick one particular group and head over towards it. And this is just a really swarthy-looking group of adventurers, very professional-looking. They look like ex-soldiers in the way all their uniforms match each other, all their gear matches it, and the way they're kind of working together is very, very, again, professional keeps coming to mind on that. Come up there, they can kind of have an exchange back and forth, and one of the mercenaries kind of sits at the table and smashes it with his fist. He's like, "You ain't got the experience. We ain't up here to do nursemaids. Get out of here." With that, the two kind of step back a little bit, like, "Oh, okay," and they make their way from table to table to table, and it's the same story over and over again. And two men look really rejected as they begin kind of walking up onto the bar. And one of them has his chest still puffed up, the other one's shoulders are kind of down. He gets this tear streaking down his cheek there. Zilda comes over, looks at your table. She's like, "That one's going to need to toughen up a wee bit before they strike the likes of that city down there. Save their lives." What do y'all think about that? No, do not recognize the crest whatsoever. You don't. Somebody else might.
Would I?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe you should give me a roll on that.
Yes.
Can Mary eye it as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, no. What is this? What's the
I will give you perception on that.
I got a 9.
You got a 9?
Cool.
Very
Great.
struggling today.
Lovely. Yeah, I got a 5.
5?
Yeah.
Both of you are like sitting there like,
Sensory overload.
ooh, I know that. But it's just
Yeah.
like tip of your tongue, can't put it together.
Well,
You've seen
that's-
that before.
Would that by chance be the crest of Lord Arundel?
No, it is not. It is definitely not the
Those
Airedale
colors.
crest. It definitely looks like it's from somewhere up in the Concordance, but outside of that, putting together, no.
We need more brainy food.
would it have appeared in a book I've read, perhaps?
No, sir.
If me too. Folks coming to seek to join up with other bands going into the city.
Well, most of the time they come here and they've already got their crews kind of together, but every now and then we have smaller groups that kind of, put themselves together and then head on down. I mean, it's only been happening for a very short period of time at this point. And, I wouldn't recommend going down there. I mean, who knows what's behind those city walls?
Oh, they seem very well put together to be coming in, just the two of them.
Well, unfortunately, money may buy you a lot of things, but it doesn't always buy you the smarts.
Didn't he tell us yesterday that not many have gone yet? I recall asking if he's seen anyone, any stories of an individual going down.
Who?
Our friend Rex from yesterday.
Well, I'm not sure what he's seen, but, I work here at the tavern. This is my place. This is kind of how I do my business.
Do you recall that?
I do.
But yes, there's plenty of, we've had, it's been open for several weeks now, and we've had plenty of groups staying here, and, they come and they go.
They come back?
Pardon me, are you concerned that Mr. Versagallis, that we are not the first group of would-be adventurers that he has recruited?
I would be curious as to why he wouldn't know anyone else going if it's been ongoing longer than tonight.
Well, Mr. Rex has been here several different times, but never once putting together any additional groups to go down into the city.
Just a regular patron otherwise?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the place to kind of stop as you're moving away up to the Concordance or, back down south. So we do pride ourselves on providing good quality places for people to stay. But yes, sometimes, who's to say if they don't come back from the city? It's not like we can't really say one way or the other on that, but it is, I'm sure there are some groups that have not. I don't think we should talk about that right now. Is there anything else I can do for you, Melissa?
Reverend, I feel invigorated from your blessing of our food, but I point over to the two. May I say, point out some wayward souls for your flock.
Oh, yes. I will be right back. I'm going to stroll over to them. Good morning, gentlemen. Wow, you look like powerful adventurers.
They've already gone out the door while you all were having this conversation. So unfortunately, they went out the door in a huff.
All right, well, maybe next time. I could chase after him, but we don't want to look too thirsty.
What we have. Oh, is this one of your? Okay.
It's a colorful aphorism, my
I
friend.
see. Okay. I'm getting them.
All right.
Well, what shall we do now?
I believe you had mentioned that you were in the market for some wares. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I too would greatly appreciate a change of clothes. And, yeah. Maybe some more armor.
As Zilda goes popping by, she's like, arms and armor. She's
Great.
like, go check it out. It's my husband's stuff. You'll love it.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
And off to another table she goes.
The only armor I need is the armor of God.
Will you stop?
Not likely.
See, God tells me to protect myself with the armor he's given to us, so I think it's all right to
Perhaps he likes me better.
maybe you're still here, so.
So are you.
Yes, yes, I am here. Purpose. Someday.
You're tough enough to crack, Carrie, but I think we could become friends over time.
Ripping bread at this awkward exchange.
Man, that's really good butter.
Wow.
I appreciate your interest.
The wild rose really knows what they're about.
We talk louder.
And actually, it is amazing bread. And actually, for you, it brings back some childhood memories. You've not had bread like this in ages, Vaughn.
Is it that close? Is it that good?
It's fantastic. Like I said, it's like almost like childhood memories popping back in. So,
Should have led with that.
all right. What else are we doing?
The groups besides ours, do any of them look shady?
So let's get a definition of what you think shady might look like.
Okay, well, we are the shady bunch over here, so.
Looking, actually, compared to your group, most of them don't look shady, but they look much more gruff. And it appears to be a lot more muscle in here at this point.
Shady.
Whereas you guys seem to have some more refined individuals in your party. Most of these groups seem to be made up of some very manual action type of individuals, it looks like.
Would any of the groups, do they appear that, because like Vaughn heard that most of them were going into the city, but was that all of them? Are there any groups there that are not going into the city?
As far as you can tell, everybody looks to be pretty protective of whatever plans they're making. And you would have to probably assume that given that the gates are open and with the way they're kind of guarding their stuff, that they're not looking to share what they're doing with anybody else. So whether they're going to the city or not is hard for you to tell. But again, it does appear that most of these people look like they're in town to go shopping down the hills, about the best way I can describe that.
There's a bunch of gruff-looking men in this place. Is the kind of company that you usually find yourself in?
No.
No. Very well. I'm still trying to figure you out, my friend.
While this is happening, Mary's just been kind of looking around the room, trying not to make eye contact with anyone, but trying to suss out, making sure I don't recognize anyone. Do I?
Not at all. The only person in the entire room that you recognize is the tax man, who is just smiling from ear to ear right now.
Good day.
Keep smiling, my friend.
All right. So after breakfast, are you all? Where are we doing?
I'd love to head to the
Arms and Harbor.
I hear they do great work.
Before heading out, I want to go to our server friend. Excuse me, one moment. The bread you brought us.
Yes.
From the Wild Rose. Who owns this establishment?
Rosalind Meyer.
Mine. It's family business?
Yes.
Understood. It was very good. Just curious.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, she's been providing bread here for quite some time. It is. We have people come from far and wide to grab it, as a matter of fact, and all those concordance folks that are in town here, they eat it up. I'll tell you that much right now.
Well, I understand. It's quite good.
Well, it is excellent. That's for sure. That's why we serve it here.
Well, if you speak to them prior to myself, extend my regards.
Who should I tell them extends the regards? I
Tell them
apologize.
a pleasant, enjoyed patron.
I can do that. Pleasant enjoy. It certainly has been. Yeah, and the husband's name is Little Tom. He's over there. You'll find him, and you'll find the Fletchers. They're father and son team. They definitely take care of the bows if you have any interest in like crossbows or arrows and things like that. It'll definitely set you up right. That's for sure on that. But if you have any special orders, do know it is going to take some time because right now they are extremely busy with all the patrons coming in.
So, understood.
All right. Well, you'll have yourselves a wonderful day, and do make sure you take care of yourselves and head back, please.
Absolutely. One final question before we leave. Where would the nobles be likely to be found in this town? The people of wealth and sophistication, such as myself, perhaps dressed like this.
My establishment isn't a place of wealth and sophistication.
Oh, of course.
No, it's not. I'm just kidding. Anyway,
but the other.
So if you're looking for like, I guess more fancier attire, you could head over to the Silver Chalice. There seems to be quite a bit of snobbery over that direction.
Very well. That's a tavern as well?
Oh, I would not call it a tavern if you did that.
A salon, perhaps?
It is, yeah, salon. They an establishment, you know. Yes.
Ah, yes. That's exactly what I'm looking for. What was that again?
That's the Silver Chalice. Just
The Silver Chalice.
from here, go out to the main circle. You're going to make a right, followed up past the new Great House coming in, the Gravesons, and then up past where the Wild Rose is, and down. Oh, what is that they call that? Actually, it's a name now. I don't remember. We'll go over there all that early. Just look for the change in houses. I'm sure it should be easy to spot. New money, new blood, and new homes. So yes, they've been building quite a bit over towards that end.
Very well. My apologies. One more question. If there was the opposite type of establishment in this town, where is there such a place like that?
Well, if your proclivities are more for the dirtier side of things, there's always the Sullen Maiden. That is, of course, back out to the main circle. And this time you're going to make a left and head south, and you'll kind of know when you head over to that area. The houses and the businesses all look a tad bit more rundown.
That's the only one. There are no other taverns in this city.
Those are it's either us, the Sullen Maiden, or the Silver Chalice.
All right, very well. Thank you. Well,
I'm
shall
sure
we
yours
away?
is the best.
Well, I think it's the best, but if somebody decides that they would like a fancier drink and charge a lot more for it, that's all entirely up to them. All the alcohol comes from the same place.
I would never dream of such a thing. Never dream of it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, shall we wait to arms and armor?
We shall go.
All right. Stepping out into the morning chill, basically the air is just really, really brisk. Any exposed skin, you can feel it just kind of gnawing at that. Whatever outer garment you have, you can pull it a little bit tighter over yourself to conserve the body heat. Skies above are gray, and the air is really heavy with expectant rain. And in front of the inn, just off the veranda, you can see that one of those professional groups that we've been talking about earlier is mounting up for the day. Benchers are checking their horses, checking their equipment, making sure everything's in place as they begin to head off to where they're going. And as the party begins to mount their steeds, your eyes are drawn to a woman as she staggers down the lane towards the end. It looks as if she's dazed or drunk. She's dressed in a very filthy commoner's clothes, and her dress is ripped. It's smeared with dark mud and stained with these spatters of crimson on it. As she's drawing closer, you can see a little more of these details. And the hem of the right side of her dress is pockmarked with burn holes, and there's definitely a dusting of ash on her tear-streaked face. And her long cinnamon hair that was in a very nice-looking bun is just kind of draggled looking at this point. And her cheeks are swollen from the crying. And as she approaches one of the mercenaries, she's like, "Please, my lord, we need your help." See the knight look down at her and jerks his horse away from her. He's like, "Let me be, woman." She's like, "Our homes, they were attacked." And she kind of hangs onto the reins of his horse there. He's like, "Busy, wretch, we're busy. Get there, go see the grievesman." She's like, he's not helping. It's not his jurisdiction," he says. "Well, then it's not my concern either. We're not here in town to take care of urgents." But you understand, my daughter, they've been taken. Please." And at this point, he rears the horse back, jerks his horse away from her, and looks down at her. He's like, "If you touch my horse again, you will lose that arm."
Gone.
What?
Heading straight to the woman.
Heading straight to the woman? All right.
Yep, right behind. Yep.
The knights turn and off. They gallop down the lane there, and she's just left, just watching them. She kind of sinks down to her knees, just totally defeated. And as if kind of punctuate what's going on as Vaughn's walking up towards her, the rain begins to fall at this point. It's not a heavy, heavy rain, but it is definitely a very thorough, soaking rain as she's just sitting there just sobbing.
And Mary's right next to Vaughn and kneels down to face her.
Takes off the coat and essentially like, I'm so sorry, I saw what just took place. That was...
She's like,
How
there's
can
no,
we help you?
Are you
there's
hurt?
no one that will help. And looking at her, she's definitely beat up looking. There's bruises on her. You can actually see a couple of burn marks and things like that. Not at this point, it looks like it's been crusted up. The scabs are there. It's happened several days ago. And she's like,
I extend out my arm to help her stand up.
You help her stand up. And like out of the blue, Zilda's there. And she's like, looks at, she's like, "Thank you." She's like, bring her in. And begins to kind of help you walk her up onto the veranda and then into the tavern and into one of the tables. She sits down there. And so it's like, I'm gonna go get her some tea and some water and stuff to kind of help get her cleaned up. I'll be right back. And off she goes to head off to the kitchen there. And the woman is just sitting in the chair, just kind of rocking, and she's like, "Hold up, I don't know."
Take your time, but please explain what happened so we can help you.
They came in the night. It was dark, and then there was commotion everywhere. There's fire, and they attacked our homes, and anybody that stood up, they killed my husband. They killed my husband. They killed my son, and Anna, my daughter Anna, she's missing. They took her, and I tried to stop them, but the house had collapsed. And
Who's they?
they were monsters. They're these little green horrible creatures, and there's these furry taller ones, and they screeched and they made these horrible sounds, and some of them were even they were chewing on the man as he was alive. He was screaming as they were eating him, and they took them.
Terribly sorry, ma'am.
Will you help? No one will help. The guards they took me to the grievesman, and he said it's not his problem because our houses they're outside of the gates. They're not part of the community. We didn't want to pay taxes and live there. They won't help us.
So these creatures were outside of the gate at your homes?
Yes, we lived just off the Traders Road on the old road to to the city. We would live down the hill
How far by foot?
by foot. She seems very dazed, like she's trying to put the data together. She's not really comprehending at this moment. Just definitely shocked. At this point, Zelda comes back and she's got some cloth and some warm water, begins kind of mopping off the ash on her face. And again, you can see that she's been struck in the head at least once. There's just matted blood there. She begins kind of wiping the wound away. Looking across her, you can actually kind of see look like a timber or something was resting across her back the way the burn mark is on the clothes that she wears. Zelda's doing the best she can to kind of help clean her up at this moment. She's looking at you folks like,
Is there a space that we could possibly have prepared for her? If it's something necessary, I don't want to speak for all of us, but I'll gladly assist for a night or two.
We have an extra bed.
She's like, you don't worry about that. I'll take care of that.
I was going to say, I think it's the right thing to do.
She said, we'll do that. What are you doing?
I kind of looks to the rest. I don't want to speak too openly in front of her to relive some of this experience necessarily. We need to find out where this took place. I understand that we had another plan for today. However, there's none of the guards in here, are there? It seems this woman is not going to be receiving any of the type of aid in this town.
Echo, you heard the description of the monsters. Does that fit any kind of being that you encountered in your travels?
Roll with advantage.
Rolling.
I would say you could do history, you could do survival, you could do nature,
I'll do survival.
because all those would come into play with
Yeah.
your character's background.
That is a 17.
17? Very, very sure given the fact that she's had these little green creatures and then large furry ones, she's more than likely talking about goblins and bugbears.
It's not good. It's not good. We're gonna need all of us, but I mean, if we can get you guys weapons, I think we can handle it. Though, no missteps. Seriously, I've seen what these can do.
All right.
Well, what is it?
I mean, she described a little bit of it, but you just gotta be ready for anything.
Wonderful.
They don't act with morals. It's not just about survival, which is why it's crazy to me. It's sometimes it's just for fun.
Well, do you think that we can take on this evil?
I look at the three of them, and I look at you two, and I'm like, I think so. You two, can you fight?
Don't worry about me, no, my friend.
Damon?
Yes.
Yeah, we can do it.
I'm sorry, just to clarify, you said that she did have wounds on her?
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk over and I hand her a bottle of liquid.
She takes it and she's just kind of staring at it and looks up at you with what should be a relatively easy transaction of what's going on. Again, not putting the pieces together at this
Ma'am,
moment.
please drink this. It will make you feel better.
Zelda helps her pop the top and kind of puts it up to her lips as she tilts the concoction back.
Here.
And at this point, you can see a little bit of color returning to her cheeks, and the wound begins to knit itself just a wee bit. It's not healed all the way, but again, as the skin kind of starts to pull itself together, some of the crusty blood begins to fall off and look a little bit better, especially as Zelda's kind of cleaned up there. Not at 100%, but she definitely looks a lot better than she did a few moments ago. Still a little bit dazed, like, I feel pretty tired right now.
You will still need some rest, but feel the healing word of the one God.
And she
And be
grabs her
grateful.
hand as you start to kind of pull it away. She's like, find my Anna, please. You'll find her, right?
I will do my best, ma'am.
And she begins crying right on your hand as she's kind of leaning forward on it there.
As that's happening, Mary walks over too. Would you like to pray over your husband?
During that interaction, I was just like looking at her.
Would you like to pray?
You gotta pull your hand away, and as Mary, she definitely, she's like, yes, he was a believer, yes.
I speak with her about dulling the pain and the sorrow and the hope that we have for finding her daughter.
Give me a performance.
Hallelujah.
Oop. Oh. What's performance? 13.
13.
That's my third 13.
She's very happy. I mean, like, again, you've definitely spoken comforting words to her. So, did you take away all of her pain and sorrow? No, not at all. But she definitely feels a lot more comforted with your words.
Man, we will find the ones that did this to your family, and we will bring them to justice. They shall be crushed under the boot of the Lord Almighty.
A bunch of people in the bar kind of turn over in the tavern, look over, like, okay. And back to their planning and plotting as they go.
Don't get too preachy at the text man.
Zilda looks at you, and she's like, when you find that girl, you bring her back here. We'll take care of her mother. The mother's name is Katja, and the daughter is Anna. So, their little village is just outside of town, kind of a little commune. When you exit the gates, take a left at the fork, go north to your next fork, and then make a right. That'll take you to the old road that leads down to Granitegard. Along the way, you'll find their commune there. I can't tell you what it's going to be like right now. It doesn't sound like it's going to be good. When you find those people, bring them back here. We'll help take care of them between here and
As
there.
quickly as we can.
Be safe. Be blessed.
I would, during this conversation, and how long should it take us to get there?
I'll walk from here maybe 30, 40 minutes, I would say.
Have you seen this before? So,
It's been quite a long time since there's been an attack like this. The roads are always dangerous up north here. It's just one of those hazards that you have with life in the mountains. Creatures come down from the mountain every now and then. That's why we have the palisades around town here to keep us safe. Some people choose to live outside of those walls because, again, it gives them a tad bit more freedom, but they trade safety for their freedom for that.
I can
But
understand.
if you all are going to do this, you need to remember, these are dark times. People in this town, they are scared. That's why they live behind these walls. We need a beacon of hope. Something like this could mean a lot for them.
Understood.
Let's be quick then.
And
Scooch chair out.
Shopping montage.
out the door you all head. So up the road, it's not too terribly hard to find. Come out, walk past Noah's tree, and you can actually look right across. You see the back where the blacksmith is actually working in the back, and he's all kinds of swords and armor pieces are hanging down. He is furiously pounding away. It looks like he's building a chess piece or something. Next to him is another little shop, and there's a father and son, definitely a father and son. They're both real tall, skinny bean poles, and they are bending bows at this point. But around the front end of it, from where the shops are, you can see this other shop. The workshops are, you can see an actual shop with a little placard out front, and literally it's got a sword and it's got a bow sitting in front of a shield. And for those of you who can read, it says arms and armor. For anybody else, it says blah, blah, and blah. So,
I'll get some of that
As we
blow.
walk past, are there any shields hanging, any decor that would signify family crest or something that I might note, recognize in this strange place?
actually, no, none of that. To be very honest with you, this is all, any of the gear that's kind of hanging up in the windows and things along those lines to entice people to come in is designed to not have anything on it so that somebody can get it customized, that sort of thing. But it all looks like very quality work. They definitely seem to have a range of quality, but obviously that's for the range of customers that might be walking through their door. And as you look through the window, we're good? As you look through the window, you can see a young man in the background there, and he is kind of just idly fiddling behind the desk, kind of dusting some things, making it look like he is just busy at this point. And here, we are going to take our first break for the evening, and we will be back, and you can join them on their shopping extravaganza.
Shopping montage, 90s music. Gross, though.
All right, let's pick up where we left off. I believe we're getting ready to start our shopping trip here. So our party was just outside of the Arms and Armory, looking inside at the equipment that was there, and you can see a young man trying to act busy, like he's got a whole lot going on at the moment. Kind of quiet inside the store. Doesn't appear to be anybody else inside the store at this moment. So what do you do?
I'm gonna walk inside.
Door opens up, ding, 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 little bell. Boy turns around real quick. He's like, welcome to Arms and Armor, the finest equipment you might need in the field of combat. How may I be of service to you?
Well,
Looks to be about 15 years old.
I need armor.
Oh, you've come to the right place, sir. Are you interested in a full plate special?
I just need something simple that will help me not die.
But about the full, but we'd love to hear also about the full plate special.
Oh yes. At the Arms and Armor, we have the finest in field equipment, and you too can have a full plate set made for you in 2 weeks.
What armor do you have here now?
We have.
Quite quick for full plate.
Well, yes, we've been working round the clock to make sure we have plenty of components available for such occasions.
That is quite impressive, but 2 weeks is not going to help us today.
That's true.
Would you be more interested in like leather, sir?
Yes, please.
Oh, excellent. We have padded armor and leather and studded leather in your size. And they are all quality goods.
You hear that? They're quality.
Wow. How much are they?
Oh, for you, we have a special today. You can have a suit of studded leather that will be fitted to you for 65 gold.
Do you get bulk discounts?
So, how do I say this in a nice way? Can I speak to the manager?
You want to talk to my dad?
If it wouldn't be too much trouble.
Oh no. Did I not say something right?
No,
sir?
no, my friend, you are.
We're a large group.
We're in a hurry.
More people can be helpful.
Oh,
You're doing great, my friend.
You're fantastic, but can we talk to your dad?
my dad. Okay. I'll be right back. Don't steal anything while I'm gone, otherwise I will be in a lot of trouble, please.
We won't.
And he kind of steps back behind the curtain, and you hear a door close up the back. You can assume he's probably heading up to the workshops at this point, leaving you all completely alone in the store.
Oh, don't everybody look at me. Common thievery is not among my pursuits.
A few moments later, guy comes in, obviously this young man's father. Again, very tall, beanbowl kind of family. He's like, is there a problem? I'm Hans Flesher, and my son Anders. He says that you wanted to see me. Is there something that you're not finding satisfactory?
Your son was great. We're just in a hurry. Do you do bulk orders of armor?
Well, we have. I mean,
Will we get a
bulky-
discount if we buy multiple sets?
Multiple sets of armor. I can certainly provide some sort of a quid pro quo on that, shall we say? What were you looking for today?
I just need some leather.
And I think I'm interested in hearing more about the full plate deal, though I would need something today.
Today, okay.
Yeah.
So yes, full plate is very much a custom service, and I would have to bring in little Tom for that. That's his repertoire on that end of things. My sons and I, we tend to handle more of the bows, and we handle like crossbow type of things, and the leather end of things. Tom, he is much more engaged in the metallic, into the pointy things and the defensive items. So, but yes, if it's leather that you're looking for, I'm assuming that you're looking for something. You're looking for just a regular common leather set. Do you want some studded leather on there? You're looking to get some engraved items on there, like a crest on there. What is it you're looking for with your suit?
Which one's better?
Studded.
Thank you.
I once did business in the Amphibian Dominion, and they were quite fond of studded leather armor.
I can certainly do a suit today, right now, for you, as a matter of fact. And if you don't mind, let's go over here where there's better light, and takes you over towards the window and pulls out, what you can see, it's a strip of cloth that has all these little marks on it, and begins making measurements, and he's calling off little figures, and doesn't seem to be writing anything down, but he does a whole bunch of measurements. He's like, all right, just a moment, and heads back, and you can hear him rustling around some things. Where's my quill? All right, thank you. And he goes back out again. All right, very good. He's like, I can say we can have this tailored up for you here within, say, 6 hours on that. Would that be acceptable?
Do you have anything in my size right now?
Well, I tell you what, we can get a rush job, so to speak, done for you here. I can't say it's going to be the nicest looking set when you walk out the door, but should you return from the city, bring it back. We will make sure it gets fitted to you today. Not today, but when you come back. How about that?
Perfect. Sounds good.
He literally takes that same armor that he was talking about, and he lifts up this box and sets it down. He's like, you're going to have to tighten it up yourself, but it'll fit. But again, you're not going to look the most glamorous in it because it's not exactly tailored to you, but okay, come back from the city alive, and we will get that fitted for you. How about that?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Excellent.
And I could bless that armor for you
I'm
for
good,
a
thanks.
nominal fee.
I'm fine.
Very well, very well.
All right, so we can certainly put a little fee down here for that. The discount's going to depend on how much merchandise we're moving here today.
Do you have any plate akin to that that's perhaps ready today?
The plate really will take fitting for plate. You're going to want, otherwise, I mean, granted, it's not my specialty, but again, plate is very much a specialized piece of armor for the wearer on that. I do have, let's see here, hold on, let me check what we have available. I do have half plate chests. If you don't mind me being forward here, come step over by the light, please. And again, starts taking some measurements. Just a moment. Anders here will take care of you. I'll be back. And are you also looking for like half plate as well?
Yes, please, yes.
Again, takes your measurements. This time he does have his
Subtly
quill.
flexes. That's it, yeah.
Well, yes.
Well, his armor's awfully small.
You are certainly quite small. Fantastic. All right, I tell you what, is anybody else looking for any metal-based plate?
Oh.
Or metal-based armor?
Do you have any circlets as well?
Any circlets?
Yes.
Like for your head?
Yeah.
Like, we've got helmets, and I mean, I've got some of a little leather helmet if you wish to have something along those lines. We don't really do like circlets. That's more like.
Teach their own. It's fine.
Yes. Okay. But all right, you sir, you look like you're interested in something.
Yes, your more protective leathers, such as half plate, or if not, I'll also go with the studded leather.
We have studded leather. Yes. If you're looking for something more, I mean, I do have a fairly nice hide set that is it takes a lot more abuse than just a straight leather.
Okay.
But it is a bit heavier. So I mean, I'm not sure what you're looking for on that.
Heavier would probably be good if we're going up against goblins. So let's go with that.
You plan on going after goblins, young man?
Yes, we have to.
Well then, okay. Well, I wish you the best on that. Hopefully you'll come back to get the fitting done.
Do you have any advice?
Well,
the
yes,
goblins?
kill them before they see you.
Oh,
Thanks.
very
Wouldn't have
well.
thought of that.
So,
Echo, did you need any extra funds to purchase this armor, old Damon?
I need any funds. I don't have any money right now. You have all of mine.
Oh, that's right. I was holding on to your 100 gold. Yes, I will gladly pay for this armor because
Thank you, River.
you should be protected. Because if you die, then I will likely die as well.
Exactly. Almost certainly.
He's the muscle.
I thought the god was protecting me.
Yes, but again, he's my friend, and I don't want him to die.
There it is.
Do you have, there's still more
Yes.
studded. I'd like the rush job as well, if possible.
Okay, so that would be 2 sets of studded
Guess we'll make
Carry the one. Okay, yes. And all right, so I'll be back in just a few moments here, and you, Mister, your fancy pants look like they're not going to protect you terribly well out there. Would you be interested in leathers or plates or anything?
I'm not a leather kind of guy. My jacket and the armor of God will protect me just fine. But thank you very much for your consideration.
So, over by the church, there's a gentleman that sells coffins and funeral plots. So,
Do you know where that is?
If you come back from the goblins, that might be something you want to keep in mind. So, all right. Let me go check on the half plate there and see what we can do for you on that. So give me
Appreciate
a few
it.
moments. And
Mhm.
off again, he kind of sprints out the back there, and off in the distance you hear the hammering stop. A couple minutes later, back he comes, and this time he's got little Tom with him. And this man is obviously Big Tom's son. Not even a question about it. Whereas Big Tom looks like he is carved out of granite, his son looks like he is cast out of iron. Very rough, chunky features on his father, very harsh angles on his son. And he's got coal, dust all over him, his sweat. You can tell he's been out there just beating on stuff all day long. He's like, all right, yeah, I can definitely do the half plate for you on that. Not a big deal. That is probably the most expensive stuff that we've got going on as far as a rush job goes. It typically retails for the conservative jobs about 750 gold pieces a pop.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I could certainly have that ready for you. But I mean, since you're buying two of them, I could get you a deal on that. Let's say.
Actually,
maybe
just to cut you off real quick. I think that sounds like a great investment, perhaps for later, but currently.
Do you have a payment plan?
Yeah.
Like
Payment plan.
five easy payments of $39.99 for your half plate.
My half plate, which you would put on, and then halfway across the Northern Territories before I realize you're not coming back. And then my wife proceeds to beat me with my own hammers for being
Investment
stupid
implies
and giving
risk.
away the half plate.
It was worth a shot.
Okay,
Yeah.
but how do you know we're not coming back?
How do I know you are coming back is the very good question my wife would ask.
You could just hide the hammers. Or wear your own armor.
You have not met my wife, apparently.
What's the discount you'll give us?
The discount, well, I was 1,400 for the two sets is considerable. It's 100 gold pieces off the two sets there.
We're talking
Excellent,
discount.
excellent. Yeah, no, for sure. And that's for the half plate, not the full plate.
No, that's the half plate. Full plate is like 1,600 for the full plate.
Excellent.
A piece.
For sure. I was thinking, and I think I really actually look a lot better in studded armor. I don't know if you were feeling similarly, but just for stylistic reasons, perhaps if there were a cheaper.
We have.
Do you feel you've done enough good in your life?
Oh.
Are there moments you wish you could do more? For the greater good. When you're laying in bed, do you not question these things?
Are you trying to manipulate him? Use persuasion. Hey, go ahead, give me a roll with that.
I agree with her. When you go to bed at night, do you sleep with a clear conscience, my friend?
Roll with advantage.
Oh, thank
If
please.
this is happening, let's get those stead levers taken care of quickly.
And Fletcher's like, okay, all right, no problem.
Yeah.
So I rolled with advantage. What did you get?
I rolled a 9.
Really good.
Did you roll twice? Or
Oh, no.
with advantage gets an extra one.
Oh. This was,
You did it wrong. You rolled too low.
what's 9 plus 8? 17?
17? Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh, look down on your knees and pray for forgiveness, my
I can
child.
help you find absolution. Now is your time to give.
Look. There's no way
We're not asking
in
for
heaven
free.
above am I going to give you the half plate without. So I tell you what, I'll cut you a deal on that. I've got two sets of splint that the guys never returned. Yeah, they paid for it 2 weeks ago, and have not returned to finish making the final payment on it. So I can give you 2 sets of splint. Again, they're not going to be fitted to you, unfortunately, and it is quite heavy, but it'll definitely protect you out there in the field. So yes, I can sell it to you. Let's say 150 a piece, 300 for the sets. It's 100 discount on that since they already paid me 50 on down payment for both of them.
You will sleep the best sleep you have ever tonight, with God watching over you, appreciating you, the good that you are giving us, going out into the world. We'll take it.
The Silva's going to kill me. All right.
She'll be all right.
So, all right, I will go get the suits and bring them out for you. And off to the back that he goes.
Mary, I didn't think you had it in you.
Had what?
You haggled with that man. I'm proud of you.
I was just finding other ways for him to feel satiated.
Out he comes with 2 sets of scale mail. One is a seafoam green, and the other is a pastel blue. And they both have a helmet with this big, bright red horsehair crest on the top of it.
What did you say your wife's name was again?
Zilda.
Like the tavern.
Like the tavern. And
See, we should have told you this when we walked in. We're actually working for her right now, or we're helping someone that she asked us to help. So maybe you should give us a little bit more of a discount.
We're
Or we'll tell your wife
With the hammers?
with the hammers.
We're going to help Katya and her children.
I'm not familiar with Katya, but okay.
If there's
So-
wrapping or something, we can take it to go.
Look, I can't cut you any more of a deal on the materials I'm giving you folks right now, but I tell you what, if you come back, like you say you're going to, I'll perform the fittings on these and some customization without any additional charge on them. Would that be enough to make the one God happy and you not get my wife to yell at me?
I
It
wanted
will
to make
be
you
mine
happy.
and ask you.
Yes.
I think
we'll
that's
be happy.
Wonderful.
I am happy. I love my job. I really do love my job. I just don't want to get in trouble when I get home. It's generally a long day. She's had a long day as well.
By helping us out, you won't.
Oh, fantastic then. So like a little bit of blackmail for the day, I guess. So, let's see here. So it's 300 for your splint total, and for the 3 suits, 90. Tell you what, we'll just call it 400 even for your armor today. How about that?
I hate to, right now, I hate to add to this, prolong this, but I do just have a stick. Is there any two-handed weapons here in the shop? that
He
you
turns around and
recommend?
looks back. There's this giant
Great.
display
Great.
of multiple
Great.
two-handed things that
Excellent.
you could possibly brain things with. behind
Excellent,
you.
excellent. Any sort of like anything that looks like a hammer, like
Oh,
that
that's
you'd
right.
recommend?
Discounted hammer.
Discounted hammer and the.
You want a disc?
Use
No,
hammers.
or, yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
What is it are you people doing for my wife? What job does she have you doing?
Saving the city.
Goblins attacked us.
In more words.
Goblins attacked the buildings outside of the city.
And you want something to smash goblins?
Yes.
All right. Reaches over, boom, and sets them all down. And it's a brutal looking maul. It looks like very much if you struck something with it, you're probably looking at a giant splat mark. So, yeah, it's good quality materials. The heft itself is made right out of some of the hardest wood that we've had out of our forests. The iron itself I forged myself. It's an excellent piece of equipment for you here.
Fantastic. And I would like to test the balance, just give it a little
Yeah, it's great. You heft it, and the balance is right at the right point. You're going to spin them all. And as the rest of you, actually, go ahead and drop a performance for me.
Made too many movements.
Mother trucker! I haven't rolled above a 10 all night. So that's a total of 7.
7. All right.
Oh.
Well, she goes to kind of do this spin
Whoa.
thing, and you all are impressed. When the hammer hits the floor, it cracks the wood. It seems like
Oh,
you
no.
pick it back up again. He looks down at it, and he's like, "Have you look at the rest of the floor here? At least you didn't purposely try to smash my floor." So
Usually that move goes a lot smoother.
Yeah, yeah.
actually.
It's been a minute.
it's I guess you know what? It's fine. How about that? And 10 gold is yours.
Really?
10 gold is yours.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you. So 410 will be our final price. You good
that's-
with that, Fletcher? You're good with it, Tom?
Question, that's a remarkably fine piece for 10 gold pieces. What do you happen to have? What other weapons do you have? No, I'm curious for that. What else do you have?
For that is what I have for the end of the day as far as my generosity goes.
So what other wares do you have?
I've got swords, I've got sticks, I've got pokey knives, I've got round blunt things to beat people over the head, and I have stuff to give individuals nightmares as they sleep. What would you desire?
Kind of pull up that fairly janky crossbow that he has at his side. The firing pin on this, right here, it kind of points to the mechanism.
Hey Fletcher, that's your department.
Do you think I could just immediately turn over? Could you fix this?
Absolutely. Yeah, I tell you what, give me about an hour. I'll have this ready for you.
I'll with everybody else.
An hour is worth a crossbow that will shoot, I suppose.
You'll probably want to take that hour suiting yourselves up and getting used to the armor before you go out there in the field with it.
Yeah.
Just as a word of advice, and not that I'm interested in you coming back and, bringing me more business. But yes, I would definitely get used to your armor and the heft and that sort of thing with it before you do that. So an hour is not unreasonable for the crossbow. And we'll put that ahead of some other stuff that we've got. You okay with that, Fletcher? Well, Zolda brings something over for lunch. Okay, she will.
Well, thank you.
And I assume this concludes our business?
Yes, thank you.
Until we return.
Until you return. I can hardly wait.
The one God smiles upon you.
As he has. Yes, this is true. And you have your suits. Off you go. Take it. It's Christmas time. Everybody's putting on their gear, looking at the fashion show. Anything you guys are doing during that hour's time?
Should we grab some rations before we head out? Do we know how long we'll be out? Realistically?
We're coming.
Probably.
We plan to return this evening as long as everything goes well. That being said, that is assuming everything goes well.
I think we should grab some food.
Yes.
Get some more of that bread?
Yeah.
That sounds very nice, actually.
So we return to the tavern, grab a loaf of bread,
Turn to the tavern, order your loaf of bread, chow down, get your suits.
and save some.
Everybody suits up. It's like superhero time.
Is Katia still in the room, or she has she's headed upstairs? Okay.
Zilda is nowhere to be seen, and Katya is nowhere to be seen at this moment. It looks like the grandmother and the daughter are running the tavern section. Big Tom is sitting behind the bar, and Delphine, she is at the desk, which appears to be the older daughter.
Okay. Great.
And so let's go ahead and adjust that. So if you got the scale mail there, we were scale mail, we said, right?
Splint.
The
You said
splint.
My bad. I apologize. Thank you for correcting me. Kind of did that on the fly there. So you're bringing your AC to a 17. And there appears to be no dex modifier on that. There's disadvantage on your stealth because you are wearing 60 pounds worth of armor. Those of you that invested in the studded leather, it is 12 plus your dex modifier, 13 pounds.
Yeah.
Just kind of bear that in mind. Not really heavy on the encumbrance factor, but if you are doing something, do bear in mind you are carrying additional weight.
I paid for my friend's armor as his benefactor.
Thanks,
As
Reverend. I love it.
And the maul is a 2d6 weapon. It is a two-hander. It's heavy. And even with your strength, you still cannot wield it one-handed. You're going to have to use both hands to bash people. But it looks quite effective at readjusting individuals' attitudes.
That's amazing.
And hour is up. Your armors are on. Again, it doesn't fit the best, but you certainly feel a lot more protected than you did, especially when you were just wearing cloth. You definitely think it'll probably chip at goblins' tooth should they decide to gnaw on your knee. And Bon, your crossbow is fixed, looking nice, looking good. I'll let you know that we had some weaker materials. Looks like somebody over had put your crossbow together, done some field improvising. Looks to be a little primitive on some of it, so took care of a little bit of trigger action for you. Should work pretty well right now. If you got any problems with it, come back alive and he'll fix it.
That's the plan.
Before we head out, I walk over to the Reverend, say perhaps this is a moment where I might pray together to get our spirits as high as possible, but I have noticed the group seems to look to you, and considering this is our first real traveling together, perhaps you could inspire us with prayer.
Yes, that would be a good idea.
I can take the lead if you don't.
And I take a potion bottle for each of the group, and I distribute them. Each of them has a different color of liquid inside. I say, keep those on your person in your time of need. Drink of it and feel the inspiration of the one God.
Okay, but what does this do?
It will give you the inspiration of the one God to fuel you in battle.
Do we have each other's backs?
Yeah.
Can we trust each other?
We're about to find out.
I don't think we have much choice.
No. We need to say it. We got
Yes.
it?
It's either that
Yeah.
or we're 6 feet under after this, so.
Mhm.
It's in our best
Today
interest.
is not the day that I've chosen to die, so take that what you will.
Anna, real quick though,
Mm.
is Anna a common name here in this city,
Ah.
country, town?
Do I know how common it would have been?
Anna is certainly a relatively common name.
Yeah, you hear it fairly often. I will
Okay.
admit that it was deeply unsettling.
Oh,
Yeah. But I'm sure it's probably just a coincidence, right? It's probably just a coincidence. Yeah, I think.
Do I believe
Yeah.
her?
could I see how nervous she is?
Go ahead. Give me an insight check.
Ooh.
Yeah.
11.
11 guys. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, she doesn't seem like she's lying, as much as you can tell. Again, you haven't known her all that terribly long. She definitely seems to be kind of spooked by it.
To be clear,
Mhm.
you're not that woman's daughter, correct?
No.
Oh, that would have made this a lot easier.
Unless, right, ta-da! Yeah, I wasn't kidnapped by goblins a couple days ago, so I feel like that rules out that possibility.
Just
Yes.
interesting.
I'm gonna pull her to the side real quick as we bonded over our love of pastel splint armor. Are you okay?
Which, by the way, is catching quite a few looks as people who are walking by or riding on the horse like,
Oh, good
Like the
question.
glitter
I mean,
gang,
like,
yeah.
I feel like I have more warmer undertones than you, so like, do you
Green?
so-
Yeah, I'll take blue.
Perfect. Okay.
you guys switch armors?
Well, are you
30 minutes
alright?
later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
No.
seem
I just,
Yeah.
I'm glad we took a second. Yeah, no, it's just harder than I thought it was going to be back.
back here.
Yes, and especially to have that in the first day seems.
When were you here before?
Oh, I grew up in this area a while, like long ago, but.
Is there anything I can do to make it easier?
No, just honestly having an armor that complements my skin.
It looks
tone.
good, it does look good.
This is filling me with confidence right now, so. You know
It's
what they
important to
say.
look good just as much as it is to feel good.
And be good.
No, it isn't.
Well, if you need something, you can come to me.
Thank you so much, Carrie. Thank you so much.
It's Mary.
It's,
I tell her my name. They didn't hear it. It'll just come out eventually.
All right. So is there anything else we're doing? Or anything particular you're looking to do before we head out?
I do want to point out that when Damon put on the armor, he knew exactly what he was doing when he was putting it on.
Absolutely. Yeah, it actually sits pretty well.
So are you just gonna punch them?
Yes, exactly. I'm just going to punch the goblins.
What,
All right,
works, it
Now,
works.
That I would like to see.
Sold.
we have a plan.
Well, you do know some people that have made that their fighting style, so it's not that much of a surprise for you, that's for sure. All right, exiting the town from the main gates. You all pass Emmett and Roland, and they're still at their guard duty post there. The pair don't really seem to notice you all too terribly much, but you can hear that they're in a very, very deep and heated debate about the merits of smoked fish versus pickled fish. And they are both very adamant about which one is better. Like, they're kind of yelling back and forth. Again, don't really seem to pay much attention to you on that. The directions that you were given are relatively easy for you to follow. Again, you head down to the main road, make a left-hand turn, 30-minute walk, and you are at what looks to be a scene of very sickening brutality. What was once a collection of small homes and modest farmsteads All the roadway is now basically just been reduced to ashes and skeletal frameworks. There's an acrid odor of burned timbers and the rot of dead flesh that mixes in the air, and basically assaults your nose to the point where you're like, oh. For the looks of it, it was definitely burned and looted. You're not seeing a whole lot of items left in the homes that are still kind of standing. It's still smoking in places, letting you know that this is within the past couple days this fire has raged. It takes a while sometimes for fires to burn out, but at this point it is up to you all to kind of look around and see what you can find, but it is definitely a scene of very wanton violence.
You've noticed that I've taken one of my own bottles and I appear to be smelling from it.
Is it still raining?
Yes, it is still a light rain that is going on right now. There is a multitude of crows that have gathered here. You can hear them cawing as they're picking at various things that you would probably not want to investigate too terribly deeply. Looks to be some of the bodies they're feasting upon. And there are bodies of animals and obviously humans about here that the crows seem to be quite enjoying themselves with.
Do we have any way of figuring out where the assailants went to?
It's hard with the rain, but I can try and see if I can pick up a track. And I'll kind of approach one of the corpses and see if I can see any kind of evidence of the assailant.
Taking a look at surroundings while anyone's focusing down on anything specific.
Okay. For you, go ahead and give me nature.
Okay.
And you can go ahead and give me nature as well on that.
And I'm gonna kind of look out to see if there's any other movement, human movement that I could help with.
Perception. Anybody else doing anything at this moment?
I'm just vibing.
Oh my god.
Yep. I wanna also look around to see if there's anybody else.
Go ahead. Perception on yours.
I'm gonna throw this away. Sorry,
Got
Joe,
an
I gave
18
it
on
to
the
me.
nature.
I got a 9.
Oh man, let's get these rolls out now.
Yeah, right, like, oh, guys.
So, wow, that's fantastic. Basically,
Yeah.
what I'm assuming is that the intensity of the scene is what's shaking you folks here. I mean, yes, some of you may have some combat experience and that sort of thing, but the violence and the death that's going on around here definitely seems to have put a twist into your day that you weren't quite expecting. However, as Echo's looking about, you can see first he starts with the body, and he begins kind of circling it, kind of poking at things. He begins kind of jump backwards, and you see him go through all these very strange motions as he's walking, kind of springing back here to there, going over to another point. And as you begin putting the crime scene together here, you can see that the creatures have obviously come in from multiple different directions. This was not a tidal wave coming in from one side. This was a coordinated attack from all around the village. Seems to indicate that you're dealing with bipedal creatures. You would guess there are probably a dozen or so smaller tracks and one larger one. They're definitely non-human. Looking at them again, it looks to be goblinoid on there. And when they hit the village, it was again very coordinated looking. They did not just like hit one area and people were running out the doors. They looked to be several different attacks on several places at the same time. Looks like anybody that was putting up a fight was cut down. And you also notice the fact that there are tracks where a bunch of wagons look to have been loaded up and have left really heavy ruts in the mud going out of town towards the road that leads towards Granitegard.
Looks like they escaped. It was a coordinated ambush, so we should be ready. This isn't some ragtag group of goblins. This is a well-oiled machine.
Mm.
They're heading towards Granitegard, so I think we're going there sooner than maybe we thought.
Mary's listening, but constantly looking around, very alert, eyes darting.
You can
on
tell
edge.
which direction they were headed to.
Yeah, if you look down, you can see that the tracks appear to be wheels, and yeah, it looks like they're not too old, but if we want to catch up, we should probably get moving if we're only going on foot.
Interesting enough, one other thing that you did notice is that there are additional tracks in the mud that appear to have gone after the initial incursion. They look to be horse prints, and they look to have come from the same direction you all came from.
Hmm.
So it looks like there have been some adventuring parties that have just ridden right on through here, didn't pay this much mind.
say we avoid the roads. That way, at least they can't see us coming if they hold up somewhere else further along.
Looking out, kind of give you a description of the area. The portion where you all are, over quite a long period of time, has been farmed over and over and over again. So it's a very large, flat, wide open area that heads towards where the precipice for the caldera in which Granitegard sits. So basically, as you look out, it's flat, wide, and open. About the only thing that is anywhere around that could create any sort of cover are low stone fields, so field walls that kind of break up ownership between who farms what area, that sort of thing. Outside of that is just the road, and you can even look out way in the distance and you can see like a huge bank of fog where you guess the frozen sea must be.
Is this a dormant volcano?
What's that?
Hmm?
The dormant
The area,
volcano?
you said caldera.
I don't know. I'm not a geologist.
I know a little bit. Interesting.
Rocks.
Little rock noise.
If we're going through
Well-
the forest, I might recommend that we spread out a little bit because, not to insult anyone's fashion choices, but there's a lot of unnatural colors going on right now. And
No offense taken, my friend.
I
Fortunately,
have,
Well, there's a lot of
We have
mud.
no choice.
There's no forest to worry about.
uh,
It's wide open, likely.
even worse.
Checkered fields.
Yeah, basically, if anybody was like standing up out here, between here and that where that precipice is, off in the distance, you would probably see them.
It's too late.
Do we see any broken, used arrows around, any projectiles?
Around the area
Where we
here?
stand?
No, not directly right around here. Way off in the distance looks to be some sort of building, and there's a very large arch right near the precipice. You can just see, and those of you that may have been to and from Granitegard in the past, remember that arch. And it is basically this really decorative arch that would symbol the switchbacks that would lead you down from the precipice to the base of the fields below. And that
Well,
appears to be the direction that the ruts that you see are heading.
If we were to be spotted, and I likely imagine they could have seen us already, I say we hurry.
Mhm.
we'll make haste.
I'll man the back, keep checking behind us.
Very good. It's relatively easy to track where direction the attackers went because, again, these roads have not been kept all that terribly well, and they're relatively muddy with the rain coming down. And again, the wagons are super heavy, so they've left these ruts. You can see where they've been pushed to continue to move forward. It looks like the goblins themselves are probably dragging them. At least one of them. One of them is definitely being taken by a horse, but again, the other ones look they've probably been goblin powered, moving along there. The trail follows along the old road and it brings you near the edge of the ridgeline that runs for miles in either direction. It separates the gently rolling hills of the highlands for where you stand from the coastal plains below. The ridge is a very imposing geological figure itself. At a quick glance, it looks like that ridge pretty much almost goes straight down from the edge there. So descending would definitely require some professional climbing gear to get from here to there. It's not something you're going to be able to do. It's about 500 feet from top to bottom, and again, it's relatively straight down. The hard-packed earth you're following gradually transforms into very expertly cut stone that is finally interlocked, that even the roots of no weed seem to have been able to penetrate over the years, even without any maintenance. You can tell this is where the actual road for Granitegard, the official road, begins to pick up at this point. Aside from some of the encroaching soil on the sides, the road itself looks as serviceable as the day it was laid down. At this point, the tracks kind of begin to disappear. You can see where they rolled out of the mud, up onto the interlocking granite, and then as they move forward, the rain and the weather have basically started to wash them away. That being said, if you wish to do any tracking, that sort of thing, you can certainly make a roll at this point. That's entirely up to you, but it's pretty obvious where they've been heading here. Do you wish to do anything different on that, anything you're looking for?
I'm looking for any signs of smoke, maybe how they left the last place. Are they doing anything like that? Campfires, sounds of voices.
You do not spot anything along those lines.
Okay.
The only thing that you can really hear at this point is the gentle rain and the wind. And the wind itself seems to be coming in from the coastline, striking the wall, coming up and over and blowing across you all. It's a very strong wind the closer you get to the edge of the ravine there. And So the road itself ends at a massive stone archway, and the ruined corpse of what once must have been a very impressive garrison constructed from very solid granite. The exterior walls have been destroyed, and the fortification looks like it was probably about 100, 120 feet to each side. But the tower itself, which must have been about 200 feet, has collapsed and lays down across the garrison itself. And it has literally just been devastated by time and the elements there. The sturdy oak doors have been torn from their hinges, and they lie half buried in the mire several feet away from where they sit. And again, that lofty tower that must have really been a beautiful sight to look over the edges is just laying in pieces in the mud. As you move past the fallen outpost, you can see the archway that I had talked about a few moments ago. It's actually a very impressive piece of architecture. And again, it symbolizes the entryway to Granitegard, and there's some sort of welcome that has been etched into the granite itself. Looks to be a lot of lichens and such on it, but the stonework itself is certainly available if you wish to kind of pull the lichens down. You can read the dedication that must have been written up there so long ago. As you get to the edge and you look, you can see the switchbacks themselves. And the switchbacks, it's a rampway maybe about 30 feet across, and it goes down at very gentle angles back and forth and back and forth. And it allows the wagons and horses and foot traffic a very easy egress. That being said, as you all are looking at that, you know if you take this switchback set down, there's going to be absolutely no cover for you. You will be exposed the entire time you're moving down the switchback.
How many people in a line or in a row could go down the switchback? Will we be single file? Or?
Oh, absolutely not. It fits 2 wagon carts wide on the switchback. So you could have a wagon coming up and a wagon going down, and we're talking like not like a little wagon that a guy's going to drag along here, but 2 horses, 4-horse wagons bring it down. So it is relatively wide. I would say for the estimate you all have here, 12 feet, 15 feet wide, easily.
Am I able to reach the lichens?
If you get a little boost, you could probably reach up, because the archway is designed also the wagons come through it as well. So it is quite tall. You're gonna need boost
So
there.
Brad, you want to help me up there?
I boost.
Curiosity.
All right.
Yep.
Pulling down the lichens, you can see that this archway was dedicated by the sovereigns of Granitegard about 150 years ago is when the archway itself was put up, and it symbolizes the welcoming of trade to the city and how they opened their arms to all the people that would journey across the Traders Road. So, as you're sitting there messing around with that, Noah, you do notice that there's something sticking out of the mud by the archway.
I will investigate it.
All right. In the mud, you see that there is a bedraggled stuffed animal halfway buried in the muck. It's a wolf that looks to be handmade. It's made out of very simple cloth that's been lovingly hand-stitched with obvious care. And there's an A embroidered on one of the back paws.
I'll just kind of quickly put it away, but underneath my kind of armor, I'll just be holding on to it.
You tuck it into your armor there?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And at this point, you're just at the top of the ridge line looking down. As you look down, what you can see, again, are the switchbacks. Comes down to, again, that nice granite, the interlocking stone as it heads towards the city. You see there are several fields, and then you can see the shambles where the road runs right through it itself, and then up a little embankment and to the city of Granitegard. However, as you're looking at the city of Granitegard, just as it reaches the city walls, particularly as you go up from the ground, the more you look up, the more obscured it becomes by this swirling heavy bank of clouds that looks like it kind of rolls in over the sea and just basically blocks most of your vision of the city itself at that point. It becomes very obscured. However, again, you can see the shambles very clear from where you are up here. As far as making out a whole lot of details of what's going on down in the shambles, you're not seeing a whole lot of that. But again, you can look and see like, oh, okay, well, that's where the road is led.
While in this moment of pause, whisper to Damon, are you familiar with Mask, the god of thieves?
No.
Now you are, my friend. And you feel my blessing flow through you, which will give you advantage on your stealth checks.
Oh my god, thank you.
All right, you see a
This
smirk.
is just between you and me.
You see a smirk creep up on Damon's face. He's like, oh yeah. And what are we doing?
Well, looks like we can't really sneak up on them. That's why I'm open. And you said we've probably already been spotted if we was going to be spotted.
If we were looking, I imagine so.
Being out in the open doesn't mean we can't set a trap, though. We could
Or the
use
bait.
someone shiny as bait. Not naming any names.
There's,
but the
there's
reference.
that thing again where you all are looking in my direction.
And while they're distracted, we can make sure that the Reverend doesn't even get a scratch.
It sounds like it could be a clever plan. What do the rest of you think? I'm willing.
We laying trap here, in this spot.
My only question is this: what reason would they have to come out, even for, please take no offense, someone so shiny as yourself?
Well, they're marauders. Perhaps they would try to rob me or kidnap me or some such.
Maybe we could try further down next to the city, because there's no one on the switchbacks. And I worry if we send him down alone that we might not be able to rescue him.
It feels like our
Yeah.
first challenge is getting down there.
Yeah,
I mean, unless they're invisible, you would probably see them.
yeah.
So we need a way down the switchbacks
Mhm.
without getting, I mean, we won't get ambushed, but without getting attacked on them.
Mhm.
Or we will get ambushed. Don't like the laugh.
Well, I say the way down is relatively easy. I mean, you could fall down them, you could roll down them, or you could walk down them, or if you're really feeling like excited, you could skip, or whatever you want to do. But either way, it's very visible. If somebody's going to try to ambush you, you're probably going to see them just as much as you trying to ambush them on it. Because again, these are not designed to provide any sort of protection or anything else like that. As a matter of fact, they've really seemed to make it look super vulnerable coming up or down these switchbacks, which might be the reason there was a garrison tower sitting at the top of this and a clear view to the city walls over there where they could see any forces invading. It very much looks like it's designed to make you vulnerable as you come down this. Not only that, safely to bring traffic up and down, but that sort of thing. So yes, it is very wide, it's very broad, it's very open.
What's the
Thanks, I get
length
it.
we'd be walking?
If you just merrily make your way down on an easy stroll, it'll probably take you 7 minutes to go from top to bottom.
What's the distance?
I don't have the exact feet.
We wanted it centimeters.
I know. It's about 7 minutes for you to walk back and forth down the switchbacks. Remember, it's designed so that carts aren't going to go just flying off the edges as they careen down the hillside should something go terribly wrong.
And well, this also leads us to the Trader's Gate, which I believe is what all the adventurers are using. So I think it stands to reason that I echo your eyes are better than mine, but I don't see a pile of dead adventurers in front of the gate.
I'll go like this and
Yeah.
look over and try and see if I can spot anything.
All right, Echo, go ahead and give me a roll.
Yeah.
Advanced vision.
Pretty good. This is perception.
Yes, sir.
That will be a 22.
From your position up there, you do not see any pile of dead adventurers. There seems to be everybody that has come up and down this thing in the last 12 years must have made it. What you do notice is that way down the roadway, there appears to be a overturned cart down there that looks to have been there for a while. It's hard to tell. It's quite a distance away. But there's definitely something kind of odd with the plant life down there, but you can't really tell that well from up here. Something you probably have to go down there and look at yourself. Which we will get to after the break and see if our heroes actually do make it down the switchback.
We must learn everything
We're
about
about
it
to measure this first.
Yeah.
What is it in football fields?
I never bothered to put the exact measurement of this thing.
Whoa.
Checking out moon.
welcome back. And now we're going to find out if our party actually does decide to make it down the switchback. So I know you've been at the edge of your seat waiting for that. So, what are we going to do, folks?
We finished counting.
You're counting the distance out down here, like, okay. And so who's going to lead the, and are you just going to run down the hill? What are you?
Yeah. Before we leave, Anna just places a hand against the arch and takes a breath and then starts walking down.
I know this pretty firmly.
Are you okay? Are you good to leave?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm so ready.
All right, so we're just gonna like run down the hill here as fast as we can. I hope we don't get shot at.
I don't know how well I can run with this.
Well, shuffle.
There is nowhere to hide
Zigzag.
on this switchback at all, so if we run, we may cause attention to ourselves. Let's try to be as quiet as possible.
All right, yeah.
All right. So as you all proceed down the switchback there, descending the stone roadway, the earthwork leaves you feeling terribly vulnerable and exposed. Anyone or anything that may be casting an eye in the direction of the rampway would easily spot your party as you're traveling down, especially as you go from one switchback set to the other. However, as you reach the bottom, you are very relieved when nothing attacks you, nothing leaps out to get you as soon as you get to the bottom there. You pause briefly as you look at your surroundings. There's a thunderous roar that echoes up from the base of the waterfall where the Wild Run River comes over the edge of the precipice and drops the 500 feet to the bottom of the floor, and then continues to flow like a river towards Granitegard itself. Fields line both sides of the granite road on either side of you there. The edges of the roadway are slightly overgrown, but you're surprised how little the years and the weather have had any effect on the infrastructure itself. Aside from some accumulated debris, it looks like the roadway was only recently laid down. The fields, however, are a very different matter. Once carefully tended by very expert hands, the land has now been reclaimed by the forces of nature. Bramble patches and spreads of thistles can be found amongst the wild-growing winter wheat and the buckberry grasses. And you find it very surprising that the fields aren't completely overgrown with wild vegetation, as you would have expected after 12 years of misuse. And again, no human hands have tilled these soils since the city itself has fallen. What are you doing at the bottom now?
And is that what you meant that Echo spotted about the plant life being strange?
Well, that's just your straight observation at this moment.
Okay.
I mean, unless you look more carefully, or,
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on what you're going to do.
I'm gonna see what's up with these fields. They seem strange. And I'll attempt to roll
Nature check?
Yeah. 12.
12. There's something distinctly off about the plant life. For one, you notice there's a lack of animal life in the area itself. From the roadway there, you don't spot any birds in the sky. There aren't any little furry critters running about here or there. There's not even any kind of mosquitoes to pester you. Another thing that bothers you is the lack of the natural sounds. Again, you're not hearing the animals, even if you're not seeing them. You know, oftentimes you can hear a hawk crying up in the clouds, or a bird chirping from a bush somewhere. There's absolutely nothing, not even any buzz of insects. And finally, as you're looking at that plant life itself, it looks very dull and anemic, as if it's like struggling to grow and survive.
The All-Mother doesn't bless this land. Something's wrong.
Have you seen this before?
No, never.
What would cause something like this? It's not blessed.
I don't know. There's nothing here. It's not dead, but it's not alive either.
It's very painfully obvious to the rest of you as well. This area is, yes, the plants are growing, but again, the difference between what the plant life looks like here and up above on the plateau is very, very different. And these are supposed to be some of the most fertile fields around. This is one of the things that Granitegard was famous for, were the large fields here that they would support, export grain, things along those lines. So as far as you can look, it's just overgrown. It's not very, vibrant looking. However, one of the things you did notice, Echo, is that in the dirt and mud that's kind of scattered on the road there, you could pick up some of the tracks from the wheels. It looks like one of the carts might have suffered some damage coming down the hill, but they do appear to proceed in the direction of the shambles.
After you pointed out some of these things, you all would see that Mon kind of pulls out that little book that he has at his side, kneels down, kind of rifles through a little bit of the grass, the dirt, the debris, various things that are just here, this strange plant life. Doesn't really speak anything to you all, and just kind of like lets the dirt, the gravel kind of fall through his hands, and then immediately just starts kind of like taking down some notes in his book. May or may not be of note or things. A couple of, it's interesting. Just jots it down. So where are we off to?
Looks like the wagon was damaged and it continues this way. Might have been the wreckage we saw up there.
Is there any cover that we can take as we approach?
The wagon was the only significant structure I even saw in the path. Just proceed with caution.
Yeah, that's way up that direction towards the shambles itself.
Very well then.
Clink, clink.
Yeah, exactly. They're both like clank, 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 clank as you go moving along. Yeah, I mean, again, you're not making like crazy noise, but it is basically drowning out almost any other sound the rest of the party's making as you all are moving along there. It's very cloppy.
As quiet as I get.
So, as you follow the stonework road, you find yourself at the edges of the shambles. These buildings here are constructed from very simple and abundant materials that must have been available for the common people. They're fashioned from cedar timbers, wattle daub, and straw. Neglect and the passage of the seasons have left their mark on these buildings. Though most of the buildings remain relatively intact, decay has certainly begun to gnaw at their integrity. Here and there you can see that a roof has succumbed to heavy snows from the winters past. Broken window, ruined door, there's lots of moss and mildew growing on the sides of these structures. You also note that the main road cuts right through this edge of the shambles and heads straight up to the Trader's Gate. The drawbridge is actually lowered into place, and the gigantic gates that lead into the city proper itself are sitting wide open, and the portcullis is raised. From your current vantage point, you do not see any details of the interior, and everything past the gate very much seems shrouded in darkness. On either side of the main road, at seemingly very random intervals, there are multiple side streets that branch off, leading deeper into the shambles. It's only now that you can truly begin to see the signs of the panic that must have overtaken the population. There are wrecked carriages, overturned wagons here and there, boxes and crates scattered across the roadway, personal belongings that must have been dropped in the chaos and left where they fell. Some of the buildings show signs of fire, where it has spread and damaged several other structures very close by, leaving these very skeletal frames. And in the middle of the road is a very large wagon with a crudely fashioned sign. Was it someone that tried to flee in the panic, or maybe the citizens stopped maybe to return to collect some of their belongings that they had left behind. Your mind basically puts together any number of possible scenarios that it could have been. There's no real way of telling what must have happened. However, what you do know, as you look at it, the wagon itself has lost a wheel and must have heaved over to one side. The driver and the horse both died in the accident as they lay tumbled up. Their skeletal bodies there have just basically desiccated over time. However, somebody has nailed a sign to the edge of the wagon there. It says, "Dangers! Monsters here, keep out!" And someone else has taken the time to vandalize the sign saying, "You don't say." As if this was super important for them to put on there to insult the individual trying to put up a warning for you. You feel fairly certain that the scraps of cloth and possibly the undigested piles of bone that you're looking around look to be piles of dung around the wagon itself. So there are definitely creatures afoot. At this point, what are you all doing?
Well, the sign says beware, so seems we are embarking on a foolish endeavor.
Nothing we didn't already know. I kind of look around the personal belongings, the scatterings, the crates. Is there anything of note that we might see shining, unique, useful?
I can tell you right now, as much time as you want to spend looking here, you're not really going to find anything over, seeing as how this is pretty much the first spot anybody coming into the city will be visiting. It has been picked over and picked over and picked over.
But the dung is fresh.
Some of the dung is actually fresh. Some of it has been here for a while and has the appearance of, I don't want to talk about that. Yes, it's been here for a bit. So, driving forward about other wonderful things to talk about. But yes, any other questions?
Is there like more cover to like hide behind? Are we able to stealth at this point?
At this point, you are right at the edge of the shambles. As you look where the road sits, there's the wagon. The Traders Road runs right through it. You look to the right, you can see the backs of the houses and things along those lines that go this direction. They kind of turn in. Some of them have little gardens and stuff, obviously out of the back of the house itself. The rest of the houses face kind of in that direction towards the shambles. You look to this side, there's a much more narrow strip of the shambles that runs right up along the Wild Run River. And as you follow the road, you can see it come up, disappears kind of behind the shambles, then up an embankment and into Granitegard itself. But as far as hiding and stealthing, put yourself up against the edges of the building, kind of scamper back and forth. You can certainly attempt to stealth your way along. Most of you. The Clang crew over here might be a little bit less stealthy as they move along, but they will definitely absorb the hits as they come rolling.
As we've gone along, I've moved so that I'm closer to the two of them than to the two of them.
There definitely seems to be a lot larger wall of metal between you and anything that might be coming over to get a piece of the route at this point.
I fear that the clanking sound might provide a useful distraction.
Happy to be of service.
Distinct possibility there. So are you going to begin to try to stealth your way down the street?
Yeah.
Now, are you setting a distance between yourselves and the splintwares, or are you staying close by?
No, I am setting a distance from, I'm so sorry guys, from the loud metal people.
So, is there anybody moving forward with Damon?
Yeah, I'll gladly go with you.
I will as well.
So Team Ninja and Team Clank, I think is what we're going to go with on this, right?
Before we separate, I'll say to Anna, Carrie, Reverend.
What? Oh, yeah.
Well, who, oh.
We should probably have some kind of signal in case you want us to jump in for you, if they see you or hear you, more likely, and
Just listen to the wind, my friend.
Will I be my screens?
the wind.
Yes.
Never seen a goblin.
Okay, I don't know how. Okay, sure, the wind.
Way to communicate with you from a distance.
Sounds
Just like the
that
good
voice-
Lord above.
It sounds like the voice you heard earlier today, Echo.
I think they'll be all right, Echo.
All right, so Team
You're
Ninja,
spying on me.
go ahead and give me one roll for your group. Roll with advantage, whoever's going to be the roller.
I'll do it.
Okay.
This is good. This is
It wasn't
good.
gonna be bad at all.
And,
24.
Wow!
what's that?
24.
Fantastic. That is quite stealthy. And Team Clank, are you going to approach this stealthily, or are you just marching down the center of the road like we're here?
Should we maybe let you sneak your ways up front?
Oh, that's what's happening.
Look behind. Okay. Yeah, I'll kind of face back. Keep turning around to check, and you can go forward.
Of course. Anna's has been just kind of like standing and looking around, and then, but she walks
You're
forward.
okay
Yep.
to do
Yeah,
this?
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need you to just stay together. Okay.
So-
Yes, we will
Rev,
stay together.
I'm
Where
assuming
did
that there's
everyone
no
else go?
stealth going on here with your crew.
I'm strolling confidently along with my friends, twirling one of my potion bottles in my hand.
Very good. All right. Well, at least we got, you guys are moving with style, and there's other groups moving with stealth. Are you looking for anything as you're moving forward in your stealthy manner? You are definitely, like, you all are having a hard time tracking them. Like, every now and then you'll see them pop out from behind something and move forward. But outside of that, they're quite impressed with their stealthy tactics.
Remember what we said about trust and helping each other as we could do this?
Looking like a well-oiled machine, team, group.
All right. You looking to track anything as you move forward?
Yeah, I'm looking for footprints or any evidence of
Okay.
goblins.
You already know pretty much what you've been looking for at this point, so I will let you make a nature check with advantage.
Can I do survival for tracking?
Yeah, survival, that sounds fine. Since actually we moved in. With advantage, you made that face?
I
That's
rolled
not
a
bad.
3 and a 1, so that's
Impressive
10.
in its own right.
All right, fantastic. So,
Pity roll.
your tracker is working on that,
That's
and you were going to say something, I believe?
Yeah, I'm continuing for my the plant life that was
Jail.
inside. I'm looking to see if there's that same type of like mist, miasma, fog type of like uneased feeling in here, and if I can get some type of like arcane read on this.
Go ahead.
Mm.
Here, so everyone can see. Using timeout.
That'll be a 26.
26, fantastic. The same funk, whatever it is that seems to be almost like drawing the life force out of what you're looking at, so to speak, seems to be here as well. Again, you're not seeing any of the animals, you're not hearing any critters. It very much is absent of what you would expect, especially given 12 years of abandonment here in this urban environment. The animals should definitely have moved in at this point. You're not seeing any of that. And again, anytime you do find a plant kind of creeping through a crack or anything like that, it does look really unhealthy. The leaves just aren't very full. Again, there's something very off about being down here, and very depressing.
Have we seen anything like that before?
No, you have not seen anything like this before.
Understood.
So, as you all kind of head down here in the shambles, you kind of imagine originally kind of envision a cluster of really the poorest homes. But however, as you look through, you can see it must have been a pretty nice place 12 years ago to live down here. Yes, not the Ritz, Carlton, or anything like that as far as the living styles go, lifestyles which are famous, but these are nice buildings. You can see where there are evidence of shops, little homesteads in here and there, like, communities type of thing. And you can see also the way this has been built is that there's a series of shops and houses around it, and it kind of moves over to another area where there's a series of shops and houses. So almost like micro communities even within the shambles. And as you're looking over, you see, oh look, there's must have been a wine shop at one point. There's a butcher shop over here. It's kind of a couple little farmer stands that have just kind of collapsed over time. And then there's some children's toys out in front of this one here. Looking over this way, you can see where there's a dog that must have been tied up and left, unfortunately, to perish as people had abandoned the city itself. But again, you get this feeling that this must have been a very nice place back in its day. However, you are startled from your musings when a single swollen raindrop changes the pattern of the rain that has been dribbling down on you. It goes from this very gentle rain to this bloop. And as you look down and see that, you're like, oh no. And the sky begins to just open up in this deluge on you. And it is just almost like drowning you where you stand at this point. And as you move through the city, as you continue to move through the shambles, it is every little nook and cranny and crevice that it can sneak into, the rain finds a way, and it is cold. It just kind of begins pulling the heat out of your bones. It's miserable as you're moving through the city itself. And it just continues to rain. And as you're moving through what must have been these wonderful little places to be, now just, it is totally transforming your mood here. Your perception of this cute little environment is gone. The shambles now look absolutely horrible. This is a miserable place to be. It looks claustrophobic. Almost like the buildings are kind of leaning in on you at this point. And beyond the suffering that you're from the rain that you're having a very difficult time finding the tracks. As a matter of fact, you've now been kind of pushing through the rain for about 3 hours and stumble back into certain places like, oh, hey, that kind of looks a bit familiar. And up ahead, as you turn down one roadway, you can see that there is an obstruction. And looking down the roadway itself, looks like there is this huge pile of debris at the end, decades worth of debris. It's kind of built up there. There's a large impediment. There's wagons. You can see overturned boxes. And there's a haphazard tumble of dressers and that sort of thing. However, as you draw closer to this, you do notice that there are that shouldn't have been out just yet, sorry. But that's okay. You notice that there, in the debris, that there is a kite shield laying out there on the ground. And it looks to be some sort of feathered animal, and the kite shield's red and white checked, laying near the pile itself.
Are we all back together?
They're ahead of you. You guys are back behind them as you kind of come up to this dead end as you're looking down the thing. And again, you see the kite shield laying out there in front of the pile.
Bond, is that the same people from before?
Concerned that it's very well may be. Do I clock it? I'm looking for this, but I'm also looking to see if there's any matching sets, different pairs, anything else that may have been left here as well. So
go ahead and give me a perception check.
that'd be 5.
5. The rain is making it really difficult unless you get closer.
I can't be certain. I'm concerned that it might be this rain like holding this up, pulling the cloak just like a little bit more so to like shield this so we can have a conversation. I need to be closer to be sure. Are we looks around to see if there's any vantage point where that would be a terrible idea? We're going to kind of get bottlenecked into this.
On either side of the roadway, the buildings are pressed in very, very tight. There doesn't really appear to be a way, especially with the debris that's piled up along the edges of the road, to really get inside of any of these buildings. And it is, the only way you can really see from where you're standing right now is just to the far right side of there is a way kind of past the debris, to squeeze past that. Houses, again, come way up and they almost kind of lean inward. So yes, if somebody was up on the roof, they certainly would be in quite an advantage at that point. But nobody seems to be firing any arrows down at you, dropping any rocks. Nothing seems to be going on at the moment.
So,
Stay here for a moment, if you will. I'd rather us not all rush up there, but I'd like to go quietly. Okay.
before that, Mary starts kind of freaking out and doing my own little shorthand prayers. I want to aid some of us and make sure we're fully prepared to go in.
If we would rejoin with them. Well,
As the Team Ninja moved forward and saw the stopping point, you all kind of came up behind them. That's really unless they decide to advance forward, there's really nowhere else at that point to go.
So, I'm going to give you guys the blessing of the gods that we might be prepared to face whatever it is that we face. And with that, you guys get 5 HP each. And our fearless leader, not to insult your relationship with our God, but I would like to bestow the blessing of mine to you as well.
oh, thank you, thank you. Very kind of you.
Thank you.
That's 5 HP for me as well.
Mm-hmm. You two, I trust you.
I may
Handle
need it.
your own. Take it not as an insult, but a compliment.
I give you my own blessing, Damon.
Yes,
Same
you
one I
did.
gave you before.
All right.
Okay.
Gotta pray 8 hours.
Before you go forward, before any of us go forward, is this worth it? Are we walking into something, are we biting off more than we can chew?
Those poor fools came in this direction and fell, or lost this. I would best see it returned home, so they don't join. I know it's still raining. Kind of looks around. The rest of these poor individuals that weren't able to escape.
Damon does have a point. What good does it do those fine folks at the tavern if we all perish out here as well?
We're going in here anyway, right? There's a lot we need to discover in here, and if we can help more people along the way, I say we do it. We're already taking a risk.
I
Well,
would
make
wish
your
to acquire-
perception.
Who's at perception?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a 17.
17. You think you hear this coming in the direction of the barricade there.
Wait, do you all hear that? No.
Yeah. Anybody listening now, you do suddenly hear in there, like now that he's pointed it out, this.
I'm sorry, but if they're still, we can't say no. And Vaughn just takes off.
All right.
Oh,
Vaughn advances forward. Would you go
Follow the
ahead
sound.
and let's move him up.
that bloody fool. We gotta
So-
follow him.
Yep.
As
Alright.
as you move forward, Vaughn, at first it seems like the junk heap there at the end of the road is beginning to kind of tumble apart, and then you actually see for what it is, and the ice begins to form in your veins, and these arms and legs begin to unfurl like a balled up spider coming out of its roots, and this humanoid creature begins to rise up and out of the debris pile, fully 10 feet high or more. Its body is covered in like debris itself. It almost looks like it's been strapped or kind of placed on it. There are crates that are adhered to the arms and legs. There's a wagon or something fastened to its back. There's like another wagon wheel on its fastened like a buckler. And strangely enough, on the top of its head is this chicken coop. On the chest, you can see there's several barrels of various sizes that have been attached again, almost like chest armor. This thing, they kind of swing a little bit as it stands up. And just as it gets up, what's this? Man flesh, yes, and something else. But man flesh indeed is Tasty, tasty man flesh. It's cold. Have you brought us? Have you brought the collector? And that's where we're going to stop this week, folks. So, we hope you have enjoyed this evening's presentation and the improvements that we made. Please come back and see us again next week as we strive to bring you even more improvements to the show. We love any feedback that you want to get, so you can join us on our Discord server. We would love to hear from you. And if you do us a favor and spread the word, that would be absolutely fantastic too. So again, thank you very much for joining us this evening.